your patience in bearing with me as we get started a little bit late. My name is Bonnie, my pronouns are they, them, and I'm the poetry event coordinator here at Brooks-Motl. Today, it is my pleasure to host two incredible poets, Hannah Brooks-Motl and Stephanie Burt, who's running a little bit late, but will hopefully be here soon. And I'm thrilled to welcome them as part of the Third Thursday's Poetry Reading Series. Before I do introductions, I have just a few housekeeping notes. So firstly, copies of these two wonderful books are available for sale at the back counter over there. I encourage you to support the work of these two writers in whatever way you can, whether that means buying a book, following them online, saying nice things to them while you are here, and of course, being in this room for this reading is a huge way to show support, so thank you. Please know that the event is being live streamed on this iPad right here. Hello, YouTube. Our audience should not be visible to the YouTube live stream viewers, but if you don't want to be live on YouTube, just don't stand in front of the iPad and you will be golden. Please keep your phones off or on silent as our poets are reading. And finally, we will have a signing at the end of the event, so if you get a book, feel free to bring it up to this table over here and our poets will be there to sign. As I mentioned before, this event is part of a monthly reading series taking place on the third Thursday of each month here at the store. Our February event will probably be listed on our website next week, but in the meantime, we have a really exciting reading celebrating local poet Carol Dine's posthumous collection, Blood Moon. And it will be presented by the editors Tahila Lieberman, Linda Cutting, and former Brookline Poet Laureate Jennifer Barber. So I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be on Wednesday, January 28th. You'll be able to find out more details on our website, and please feel free to come join us. Hello.
Hi,
Welcome.
I do feel free to join you. Ow!
Oh no.
Ow!
Oh no.
I'm just happy to be here.
We're so happy to have you. Thank you, Stephanie.
Oh my god. If you're wondering what I sat on, it was a thing designed to make sure I didn't sit down on anything.
You did great. You're doing great. All right. Well,
You're doing great. Hi, you introduced me last time.
Yes.
I'm so sorry to keep you waiting.
It's
I'm
all
so
good.
and oh my god, have we ever read together? Oh my god, you all need Hannah's first book. It's so Hannah's new book, which is the first time we've read together. It's like Hannah's fifth book. It's also Hannah's best book. It's so good.
amazing.
You're in for such a treat.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. So now for introductions. You just met Stephanie Burt. She's the Donald and Catherine Locher Professor of English at Harvard. Her most recent books are Taylor's Version, the musical and poetic genius of Taylor Swift, the anthology Super Gay Poems, and the poetry collection We Are Mermaids. She writes regularly about poems, poets, poetry, pop stars, obscure musicians who really should have been pop stars, mutants, superheroes, space aliens, angst-driven teens, and other trans people for venues in the US, Canada, the UK, and Aotearoa,
New Zealand, which is the full name of the country.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm still
You're
working
on
on that
It's
pronunciation.
okay. Aotearoa.
Yes. Among them, the London Review of Books, ALH, College Literature, and the New York Times Book Review. She lives in Belmont with her nesting partner, 2 teenagers, 2 cats, and the world's friendliest mid-sized dog. We have hosted Stephanie before, and it is so lovely to have her back. So thank you, Stephanie, for being here. And of course, Hannah Brooks-Motl was born and raised in Wisconsin. She is the author of the poetry collections The New Year's, M, Earth, and most recently, Ultraviolet of the Genuine, which came out last year and was named a finalist for the New England Book Award. She's also authored chapbooks from The Song Cave, Arrow as Arrow, and The Year. She earned an MFA from the University of Massachusetts Amherst and PhD from the University of Chicago. Her essays and criticism have appeared in the Cambridge Review, the Chicago Review, the Kenyon Review, Lit Hub, Modernism, Modernity, and in edited collections from Wesleyan University Press and Cambridge University Press, among others. She lives in Western Mass, so thank you, Hannah, for making the drive out here to join us. This is your first time at the store,
Yes.
so thank you for being here. We're so happy to have you. Folks, I love the work that we are about to hear. I think this is a really great reading to sort of kick off the series for the new year. And I'm thrilled to have Hannah and Stephanie here. Stephanie, do you want to read first? Do you want to read first? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, if you prefer, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I definitely.
Okay.
Sure.
I'd love to go first.
Awesome. Well, on that note,
Okay.
let's get
You just have to
a
remember
warm
to pick up
welcome.
Hannah's book. Just
Yes.
like keep everything Hannah does in your mind while I'm reading. You can ignore me.
Thanks everyone for making it out, and I'm so thrilled to be reading with Stephanie. I met Stephanie at the dawn of the 21st century at Macalester College, where she was my first poetry teacher, and introduced me to literally everyone. Like anyone and everyone would appear on your syllabuses, and more than exposure to all of these amazing poets, though, Stephanie, you gave me a way to think about writing and reading poetry that has stayed with me my entire life. And so I am so thrilled and honored to be reading here with you, literally like a quarter of a century after we met. So thank you. This is for you. I'm gonna read for you. And I wanna thank the Brooks-Motl and Bonnie and everyone for making this event so possible. One more thing, Stephanie, about us. So I don't know if Stephanie still does this. She would write cover letters to your portfolios.
Of course.
And either you were using a typewriter or you were an early partisan of Courier font. Yes.
Second one.
Courier font. And in this, the final cover letter to one of my, to a portfolio I submitted as an undergrad, you told me, people are gonna want you to be more narrative, or they're gonna want you to be more experimental, but you are going to write your own way. And I think you even used the adjective which nobody has ever used again, Brooks-Motlian. You're going to write your Brooks-Motlian way, and you said you will write books. And it was to an undergrad, to a kid, it was just so incredibly meaningful and powerful. And I thought Stephanie Burt said I'm gonna write books, so I better write some books. So I've written a couple books. This is my fourth book that I'm gonna read to you, to you. And then I'm gonna read some new work, and then Stephanie will read. So
Silence your cell phones.
this is in this book there's a sort of suite of poems called Poverty Mountain that kind of spill throughout the book and eventually take up more and more real estate. Poverty Mountain sounds like an imaginary place where we all live, but it's actually a real place in Amherst, Massachusetts. It's a small mountain that I hike a lot. So the poems come out of being in and around the Amherst environs. Poverty Mountain. Sleep in a field, take off your clothes. Psychically, that's probably what heaven means. Poverty Mountain. There are variations, though I believe in eternity, swaying untranslated, rude acorns drubbing the roof, certain animals awake in their bowls, a pit covered by water, old-timey cabin, or shack transported piece by piece, perched overlooking olive moss, golden Camrys, an imbalance in concepts, niche of the moment. Ascended as a pilgrim, plateaued, the glorious way I've huddled against you, the government's contradictory whine, if I name it, it's high over us, second to jollity, gloom, and goes to the monument. This kind of order now, taking me up, beyond poverty, or the flag 10 years ago, in the autumn months. The Guardian came over the bridge, led by a little King Charles, deprived on the floor. There's a place, beyond regard, stupid with courts, sufficient to all. Poverty Mountain. I go to the mountain each day, have a dutiful dialogue with fallen leaves, Pringles cans upon these wasted knuckles, the beautiful kind repairing fictions. Eternity is coming, take a walk with the outside, the same mistake made in writing the same sentence as before, same unit, now fill the page. Fridge around 3 a.m. sounds like an ocean's inside, semi-aquatic volume shifting against or upon the present, buying yellow roses, pulled back the trees, deposited future to the soil, said how it was with them. It was April 4, everything behind, doing predictable, on a bad day, on the Z vector. Is that the one that comes right at you, crawls right over? I wanted to joke in bed with my lover. We were in the middle of death. I was dancing with friends. They came along and we shoved. The lilacs were starting a warm and welcoming day, all people out with their trials and joys. I walked bare-legged in a skirt, smoked a cig, people everywhere with their trials, and we too sympathized in somehow torrential and sad, the minuscule spiritual part. Finished Kiger's journal in the bath last night, indulgent, but maybe she'd approve the mix of gossip. No, it's just facts, as if they'd matter if you were trying to keep up who came over, what they ate or drank. Gary doesn't give her as good a presence. No need to make commentary. There it is, kittens and lilies trying to vanquish, taking a boat to worry about poetry. When is it? It's not obscene pattern sounds so that new sounds emerge. Fully no slackness. A wreathed swords, few words adhered, stone, sky, God, yes, and experiencing fury, regular hunger. I'm profound to this to me incorporated. Poverty Mountain, a reference qua the epics, an evening coming out of my wormhole into the hollow. What's good for the scurf pea to be like the soul, crisply conspicuous. Still life. The blueberries were wild, they were sweet and anonymous, strewn creatively upon a platter near the carcasses of duck. Destruction comes from seeds, that's common knowledge, when word welcomes me back to random layers glued together, just beyond the legend's mat. All the glandular changes and things under the aegis thing, petty trinities, colors of the poisonous sumac, many summary zones. All the general statements, shorelines and costumes, sandwiches, turrets. How long will we do this? The shield. I had a literary injury, suddenly, an interlocutor in my heel, as though the hand of mother still rested there, squeezing and dipping me in rigorous waters in classicism's frail will. And an evil thought just to my right, evil meditation on the hypocrisies of a friend, our small pious takes in some proven place that aches, solid earth, and coats the arrow of decay. I wish we lived like this forever, coming forth in winter to antagonize the mind. A poet is a normal person covered in ticks, now possessed of throbs and gnaws and stings, robbed of understanding or robed within all this hammering that thinks. The rush of speech, the feel of rush no more distant than the cities of events, ergo primary nature, which must be plain and pain, the dialogue you have there, opening one's eyes, coming back from far away. A lot of these poems are sort of ars poeticas in this book, and so I'll finish with another such poem. It's called Poet Dream, and it features Boston. Poet Dream, a published novel, a large recliner, covered in thin red fabric, very brutal, an asshole geography, like Boston. The ones who didn't die righteously, herons in the beans, picking their way across rococo-ly. Then I'm gonna finish with some new poems. So yeah, thank you again so much. September. She told a story about a dog in the woods with a stick in its side, unnoticed for days. He had tubes coming out of him then. Slept in the bed and her husband got the couch. Shot himself later. He worked in a cell phone store. Why go? Someone doesn't have typifying motion. It gnaws, it's standard. In September, I read Hawthorne, go hard on the stationary bike. But why go? Some leaves look like silver when you put them underwater. Another one has enough, still wants. I promised to pull this to the surface and to set me down, all dirty then resilient. My chicken loves to eat the flowers. Why go? Stupid paw, heavenly paw, the see-through gingham of ghost pipes huddled and put into compost. It eased me, mesmerized by sensation of pods bursting, waxy, floral, lilac-like scent with an element of ivory soap. The seeds taste like almonds. Snaky coiled with a white root, Stuff of our time, just office stuff, stress and fear, pain plus what's fun. Ripe, dark seeds taste like walnuts from the cock of autumn. Who came triumphant into town and triumphantly to come and go? The feeling of having been mothered, I don't recall it. That animal safety before anyone has a mind. The edges of love all cracked by hurt. Won't you get lonesome? And the billions of who needs what? Or will we just roam? Why isn't there more? Progress of Rhyme, or The Cushion. And this is for the poet Kai Ines. That orchid at the yard sales like this torso, arms raised, boobs out at St. Vinny's. And these effects hang barely on an actual saint, 1581 to 1660, who served the poor in Gascony. Was he a brilliant fraud after all, despite literature and influence? Likewise, to find John Clare again, progressing in a field overtaken by the natural languages. It was in our heart's ambition, giant season with inner life, one Wisconsin goth behind her cart, but next to coax sweet Cora out. The Midsummer Cushion, John failed to get subscribers and make it print. Unsupported, for that would be, Cora went below just now. Pea-pad adrift in right corner, toys or stick-like bone made of nylon and natural flavorings. They can be a choking hazard. They can cause an upset stomach. They can injure teeth. There is no lack of concepts. Cora fled to under it. I haven't even tried. Do not slap, body, nose, get too close, or talk in the high-pitched voice of women confronting what is small. The chatty flow to having just enough of questioning all maintains what was a blow inside a toppling time. Work, struggle, misperceived, so Cora took the treats. She'd been wandering Kentucky, then fell into another's trap. Then she showed them where her babies lived, just so newly born. Then she nursed them all. Then they were transported to this couch. Progress of Rhyme, it was a porta-john abandoned in the back. Rhyme that wiggled, muled, and fed. If the vulnerable are also strong, a strength demanding recognition, what is no longer that. Unsure the category I put this mid-late winter cushion in, to pursue the retreating, bleat for the blooming, the under ones, just underneath. And then I just have maybe 5 very short poems. They, are just, I don't know, about their titles, I guess, is what I'll say. So the first one is called Footnote. A person lives in a forest for a long time, her whole life maybe. She thinks about everything and decides to transcend. Heightened cut repetitions, activated passive voice, considered where we might be locked in the wheel. Put some things down there. Is appetite supreme in these epics of the creature? Reading a book all day, that was my 30s. Immortal in the atrium, plenty of war. Sweet green. Mounds of whatever dropped with ice cream dishers onto beds of feathery salads. Quinoa, parmesan, spicy broccoli, meat. At any point, misgiving could rise and take us with it. I said, why count the things you do not have? A scathing misery that adds and adds. It scoops. Pigs are smarter than my friend Emily's baby and my friend Ingrid's baby, but not as smart as my friend Allison's kids, or my friend Caitlin's boy, or my friend Michelle's little ones, though maybe they are smarter than Michelle's littlest little one. I can't remember his age. She named him Aloysius, which was my grandfather's name, but not after him. She never knew him. She calls her Aloysius Wishy, or did when he was a baby. He's older now. I don't remember by how much. Maybe he's smarter than a pig today. Who could solve this maze I'm in, Wishy or the pig? House sadly. Our yard was ugliest on the block, sandiest with weeds and dry dirt. The weeds had long green petals like a skirt that burst out upside down at the top. Raymond Isidore, sweeping up the cemetery, sweeping up his broken heart. He was not a postman, dummy, false friend, drunk. He was putting, as most have never put, a little circle of accounts where the caravan begins. To visit the rock that needs constant expansion may be to experience regret. A fable collected us, but the timing is strange because of poetry, causality, and meaning of events. I don't seem important. Perhaps that's my gift. This is my last poem. It's called Aesthetic Theory. Vehemently to deny oneself predicament and sweetness, like the need to live, squatting in the draft. On my own too, concocting, and force thus appears to fact us. Thank you so much.
That's like a whole series of short ones, right?
I don't know if it's a series, they're just short ones
Okay.
floating around.
Now I want more. I want more. Fine, okay. Hi everyone, thank you for your patience and thank you for coming out here to hear Hannah Brooks-Motl, and I hope you'll go home with the new book. You all look like giant blobs because I'm wearing my driving glasses. And here we go. Thank you. Okay. I guess a few from We Are Mermaids. Thank you so much for coming out here. A few from We Are Mermaids, and then some new ones. And I want to be sure that we have time to sign things and do some Bonnie and Company. Are we Q&A? We can.
We're gonna cover Q&A.
We are?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I want to save time for that and have time for signings and make sure the bookstore people get to go home. So are there X-Men fans here? Sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't. I see one enthusiastic X-Men fan. So who's your favorite?
Probably Wolverine. I know it's cliche. but
Which one? Which Wolverine?
From the movies, Hugh Jackman.
We gotta talk.
All right. Maybe X-24.
X-23.
Yes.
That is a good answer. That is a very good answer. Still working on her poem. You know what? Let's just open with Sappho 31, a poem that it turns out is also about a wedding involving the X-Men. And both Wolverines were there. So my version's called Before the Wedding, and you have to imagine some mutants standing around. And I feel like if anyone knows who's speaking the poem, there should be a prize. I don't know, Hannah, what's a good prize? Except that's not a nice thing to do to the bookstore. You know what? I'll send you a chapbook or something else cool in the mail, if you know who this is about. Before the Wedding. That man you're standing next to, for so long I looked up to him like a god. You're immured in conversation, and when he smiles back at you now, my heart skips, and not for him. Tonight I need armor to look at you. When I want to tell you how we should be together, no human language comes out. I have known this feeling that warms then scalds me before. When you and I touch, it's the best and the worst. I'm brittle tin, I'm paler than drought grass. I shake, my eyes turn black, and I can't see you anymore, and yet I do. I am going to survive this experience, even if it's like coming back from the dead. Still, I wish I could be taking your hand now, even if my horns and tail would show. Let's go upstairs for a minute and look at the moon. If all my poems are sapphic or just some of them. A couple more from We Are Mermaids, because we are mermaids, and I'm pretty happy with this. You know what? Anyone here been to the Natick collection?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you're like, no, I have not. Did you avoid it on purpose? Do you know what it is? Do you want to see what it is?
It's the mall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of mall is it?
Big mall. Big fancy mall.
Big fancy mall, yeah. So I was there when I was working on this book, and it was towards the end of the first go-round with the orange guy. And he was already making noises about doing some of the things he's now doing. And I thought about, who cleaned the mall, and who made sure it opened in the morning, and who made this palace of fancy white stuff that's mostly for fancy, white people, like me, right? It's important that white writers talk about whiteness so that writers of color don't have to explain white privilege all the time. Fancy white mall, fancy white people, invisible labor, infrastructure. And then I saw that in the atrium there were these sparrows that no one had invited, and they probably weren't supposed to be there. And I thought I had to do something about that. So this is called Sparrows in the Natick Collection, and it is a shaped poem. It's a couple of sparrows and a nest, but if it works, you don't have to stare at it. Sparrows in the Natick Collection. I was not born here, but it's here that we feel safe. Above the nearly clear perpendicular rafters, each split sunbeam apportions its angles over the bald spots, scarves, bedazzled baseball caps, and effervescent water features 4 stories under us, over the shadows a gaggle of us throw down when we dive for crumbs or popcorn nibs. So little we need. Why do you see me, if you do see me, not as a reason to look up, but as a bother to be removed? What harm can I do? I peck at your trash and may help carry it off. I exemplify the proactive, practically motivated hubbub and bustle that you claim to want in the young. I am visible, but not heard, distracted and nearly self-sufficient introverts. I and mine never meant any trouble. We hide our eggs. We work the 3rd shift half the time and give your cleaners the harmless slip even before they know it. But now I think I figured out what bugs you. We have seen you stretch flat rope to keep light-fingered teens away, or herd their older sisters out by closing time. And we know you can stymie our settlements, strike our camps, let loose an undertow or wave of borax, bleach or soap around our nests, even poison our outdoor cousins. Nevertheless, we live here. Nothing you do can make us leave. Yeah, I hope the sparrows are still there. Yeah. I before I transitioned, I hated malls. I was just like, I can't be here. It's like I don't belong here, and now I like them. Mostly discount racks, but okay. So another shopping poem, or another superhero poem, or a fairy tale? Fairy tale, great. I have not read this one in a while. I hope it's in this book. Yes. Cinderella. I should apologize for how narrative this one was. I don't usually do this. Cinderella. The trans story is the heroine has to be trans because nobody else in the capital shares her size. The prince must roam from house to house, from mansion to carriage to townhome, trying to find the one girl who came to the winter solstice ball in glass slippers. They must have hurt like hell by the end of the night, even rightly sized. with heels at least 1.5 inches high and more important in ladies 13.5. But the longer trans story is the prince was already kissing and sharing secrets with his footman. Raised as a boy, the prince's favorite footman was really a girl named Cindy, but only the prince knew her chosen name. They could never marry. The kingdom wouldn't accept it. So he told her. And he wouldn't want anyone else. So, when the king insisted that he choose at that ball a bride, the prince arranged for Cindy to show up, splendid in tiara and heels all starry, like Andromeda viewed from a moonless mountaintop. When the plan went, the king asked the prince the next day, "Who was that girl you spent the night with?" Am I going too fast? Are we talking too fast? "Who was that girl you spent the night with?" He'd tell the king to scour the town for Cindy, the one who got away, except that Cindy didn't get away. She arranged, of course, unbeknownst to him, to pop out from a family friend's garage, then pop the question. And the prince said, "Yes, I've changed my mind. We're not going to hide anymore." That's the version we give the cis. And it's lovely, but the truth is almost nobody gets it right. The trans story is that the prince herself is the trans girl in the story. And like so many of us, she spent day after day, before the party, after the party, maybe instead of attending the party, crossing the town, ringing doorbells, trawling message boards, scouring yard sales and barging into shop fronts right before closing to talk to the tired clerks, never giving up her search for the one, the terrific, the just right shoe. No? No? I don't know. I thought it was fun. People doing okay? We need like some water. Okay. People are doing okay. One more from here. Okay. Take requests. I don't know. So this is a poem about geysers in New Zealand at a place that is known for its geysers. It's kind of like Yellowstone. If you could go to Yellowstone and like gamble, called Rotorua. Geysers. Like photographs of tailings in Montana turning cobalt blue in mining pools. No. This is something the earth did to itself. Catastrophe beauty, sublimity, condensation, diminutive bubbles whose source no one can see. They are the springs of human action. Sure, until we get up close or try, but we can't. To see them from above. Sometimes surrounded or obscured by experts, thick rounded recent fences and milled steel so we can view them safely now. In the adjacent dissonance of the hot puddles, effervescence rules. Forever new, forever ephemeral, mud pool eyes and eye stalks communicate incessantly with each other, a language with no spoken or written form. Do they know they won't last? Do they think they're failing? Would it be better for us to have no feelings? Quiet room. I mean, it feels anticlimactic. I like your poem so much. Like the new one, they talk to each other. T.S. Eliot said that a major author is one where all the works talk to all the other works, so it's a good idea to sort of read them all and see them as a whole. And I think you're actually, I mean, I don't know what major means right now, except that it's a military rank, which is a different topic, but like, you're doing that. These poems really talk to one another. And they also speak to the landscape and the flora and fauna of Western Mass. So I don't have any Pioneer Valley poems, but I do have a Western Mass poem that I'm pretty happy with, that the London Review of Books decided they wanted. Are there any Tolkien fans here, by the way? One? Okay. Okay. Do you want the Tolkien stuff?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, we're gonna go to Western Mass first. Hang on.
I got the master.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I feel like Tolkien would have liked it. And I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that you were able to wait and that you were able to be here. Here we go. So this is in Williamstown, and the story is real. Blown milkweed pods. Barely able to be seen through. These flat, wind-skimming seeds, like little microphones, can amplify the wind in any direction. Having persuaded one another in casual confidence that they will go far, they have chosen a bad trade. What's left of summer for winter, osmotic satisfaction for sporadic rain, a life in the sun for unpredictable shade like the one the hurricane made. 11 years ago, a storm blew half the roofs and sidings off a dozen mobile homes, and the town made a park of it so that these belatedly authorized tended star-shaped walks and plots over the former residences verge or frame the plats where this year's last few final stalks remain. A boy who grew up in spotlights, running toward and then away from fame, or a pair of girls in the wind at a far commuter station after a day hike, tired of conversation, holding hands for the first time, both hoping they find a way to miss their train. Okay, that's sad. Two more? Bonnie? Two more sound right?
See what you get. Yeah.
Okay. I did promise you some dwarves. Okay. My partner Mara, who is I've got a co-written chapbook with that's going to be out in about a year before the next full length, is just a Tolkien super person, like one of the people who can read Kenya, and got me really interested in Tolkien's dwarves, who are not nearly as kind of worked out as the elves. And I wondered what it would look like to translate the poetry that the dwarves write in dwarven language. It's called Kudzil. And I decided that dwarves wrote poems spoken by their tools and the things they make with their tools. And this one ends with a close paraphrase of something Tolkien said. That's one of the things I like about him, and I think it's relevant now. It's about armed conflict. Axe. Everything that could be is material. The oak whose fellows saw it would fail and fall and endanger them all unless first felled. The shale made solid under sea, now able squared and trimmed to keep your winters warm. The matted fern, a barrier to easily discouraged sheep, too thick to brush aside and dangerous to burn. If not the wolf herself, the man whose refusal to hear or heed his mates inflamed his greed and made him wolf to other men. We ought to love what we defend. Okay, one more. I got a favorite topic we haven't covered yet. I'm serious. I don't like that one. I don't know. Political stuff or flowers? You guys are just making me choose. Or more superheroes.
Flowers.
Flower.
Flowers. We like flowers. You guys prefer flowers to penguins?
I'm gonna change my vote to penguin.
Okay, I've never read this one out loud before. Everything here is true, by the way. Magellanic penguins at York Bay. And I should tell the story. Yeah, I should tell the story. Anyone know where York Bay is? Anyone know the York Bay Penguin story? Okay, so you know how there was a war in the Falkland Islands? And one of the weapons of war was mines. Before they left, the Argentine military junta's government that wanted to take over the Falklands left like a ton of landmines on the beach. And as you may know, landmines are really bad and shouldn't exist. And the way that they work is that if you weigh more than about 80 pounds and you step on one, it goes boom and you go boom and it's a war crime. But if you weigh like 40 pounds, you can just walk right over it. So what this generated after the conflict ended was this vast expanse of subantarctic beach that was completely hazardous for any humans or vehicles. And great for penguins, who have been there ever since. Magellanic penguins at York Bay. What keeps us here would kill you. It's a trap. My mother remembers how shovelers would bury dull metal discs below the overlap where smooth foam met flat sand. Their estuary and tidal home for bivalves covered up the lines and sunken weights that kept you wary. For us, it's safe. We're smaller. Dunes make soft catchments for jellyfish, marine explorers till we eat them. Skuas, swifts, and clever gulls compete with us. We dine in colonies and clutch our eggs in deft pedestrian peace and dive and spot the fine points on our mates. Black stripe, white band, pink tuft. We clutch our eggs and hope for no more navies and waddle lightly over what you left. The hills you die on are the waves that saved us. We think you didn't know it was a gift. Are we Q&A or do we go right to signing?
We'll move right into the signing.
Okay.
So, folks, if you do have questions for our poets, I invite you to ask those questions over by the table where they'll be getting books signed. Thank you so much to our audience for joining us. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Stephanie, for being here.
Thank you so much.
Let's give them one more round of applause.